I want to thank you for choosing to spend part of your Sunday evening with us. There are now 36 people here. That includes 12 storytellers. That includes Queen Mary, who is my co-host extraordinaire. You will not find a better co-host than Queen Mary.
Oh.
I think we can all agree on that.
Thank you, Sean.
Which, by the way, when people say that to me, like, I think we could all agree on something, that bothers me usually, because I think you don't need to think for me.
Mm.
You don't have to think on my behalf. We don't all have to agree on anything. But in this case, I would push back really hard if anyone finds a better co-host than the Queen.
You know why? Because I just kept showing up.
You just kept, that's all you got to do sometimes, just show up. She is joined by me. And you know who I am. I'm Sean. I'm in Chapel Hill. Queen Mary is in the Boston area. What part of Boston are you in, Mary?
Malden. So I'm 5 miles north of Boston.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm far enough away that I can get out of the city, but close enough if I want to get to Boston.
Right.
It's wonderful.
Let us share with this lovely audience, who I have to say, as I look at you, and I'm in gallery mode right now, this is definitely a better than average looking group of human beings. Would you agree, Mary?
I would totally agree. Oh my
Would
God,
you agree with that?
I totally agree. Look at this.
I don't necessarily, I can say definitively, because this is a grand slam, that they're very good storytellers, many of them.
Excellent. Excellent.
They seem to be very attractive.
That too.
I'm not putting them on, I'm putting them on gallery mode. Admittedly, if I put them on speaker mode, I might change my mind about that, but that's why I'm not gonna do it. And I can't speak for their characters necessarily, so I won't. But I will just tell you that they're talented and they're attractive. And which will get you a long way in this world.
True facts.
Now, tonight, what we're going to do is actually no different than most of our, or all of our 99-second slams. The only difference is this is for the big prize of season 6 Grand Slam champion, which means we've had 5 seasons, a bunch of slams, obviously 5 Grand Slam champions, who, interestingly, none of them are here tonight. So we will have a new Grand Slam champion. I recently realized that all of our Grand Slam champions are in the Northeast, if we're including Toronto and Montreal in the Northeast. So maybe we'll have a winner from the West Coast or the Midwest or somewhere else. Hey,
or the Northeast again. What?
You're going to go for the sweep? You're a little bit partial.
Yeah, that's right. I am. I definitely
Actually, Mary and I don't have any votes tonight, so we can't sway anything. Here's how it's going to go. And I think most people on here know how it goes. You'll be able to roll with it pretty easily. In a moment, I'm going to pick up my Peruvian hat. I'm going to pick 4 names out. All right. Those 4 names will be read aloud so they know their order in round 1, section 1. Then at some point soon after that, I will, and this always amazes Mary when I'm able to pull this off, stop talking. I can do it once in a while. I do it.
Every once in a while.
And then the storytellers will tell their stories. Now, I want to remind everybody here who's voting, and that's actually everybody other than me and Mary.
That's right.
We're asking that you vote for your favorite story a little more than your favorite storyteller. Now, the reality is, I know if you came here to support a friend, I get it. But it's just an encouragement to let's reward people who are the best stories, however you define that, and they're stories. And I don't want to be a story snob and tell you exactly what is a story and what is not a story. But if someone, this rarely happens. Actually, I don't think it's ever happened. But if someone just goes into like spoken word, I know Torrey, hybrid Torrey is like, wait, why not? And then, you know, like you get to decide if this is an interesting piece, but it's not a story, maybe we'll vote for somebody else, right? We also are asking that if you clearly see that somebody's reading, that you may think twice about giving them your vote. Now, I'm not going to decide, hey, that person's reading, we're going to nix them out. No, but I'll let you decide that. We do want to reward people for sort of playing by the rules. That's one of the rules that we've set up and we've had since the beginning. The only other thing that I want to share with the tellers and everybody is at 80 seconds, they will see this. The storytellers will see this. This is really for them and not you. That gives them almost 20 seconds to finish up. If they go over, they will be disqualified. Now, Mary knows how I feel about disqualifying people. Mary?
Super bummer.
Not.
We get very sad.
I do.
There's a chat that happens in Messenger that just is very sad.
I mean, it doesn't last very long, to be completely fair.
No.
Nonetheless, it is not the greatest moment.
Mm-mm.
So in that case, what we'll do at the end of the 4 storytellers for each section, Mary will give a summary. So that means you just heard the story and you heard the summary, and then you get a poll with their name and a little blurb about the story. But if the person's disqualified because they went over, then their name won't be there. Now we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. All of our voting tonight is, don't hold me to these exact words, Torrey, but it's a little bit different. I don't think it's necessarily rank choice, but you will see the names and you will pick your top 2 stories. You don't have to put them in order or first, you just pick your top 2. And then Zoom will do some math for us. And we will, so for round 1, section 1, we only have 4 storytellers. Top 2 go through. Section 2, top 2 go through. Section 3, top 2 go through. Typically, Mary or another judge has sort of a wild card vote. Not today. Not today. So that's how we're going to roll. We were doing this because I think this system is a little bit fairer. And Torrey, who studies this stuff, is giving me the thumbs up. So that's
thank you, Torrey.
Yeah.
Keep us on.
Work that into your mashup, Shine. Work that little nugget of wisdom into your mashup.
She's like, don't worry, got it. Thank you.
She's like, I'm a little ahead of you, Wellington. Don't worry about it. We're good. It's not my first rodeo, buddy. And I think, Mary, I always ask this to you at about this time. Did I miss anything? Because typically I miss a lot and I lean on you to get me back on track.
No, but you don't. And you didn't miss anything here other than we had some more folks join us, and thank you for doing that. But other than that, but you were busy talking. I was letting people in. So
I get that a lot. People say that to me a lot. You were just busy talking. Wait, I'm sorry. Haven't gotten the memo.
Listen.
Yeah.
Sean, but if
Apparently
you weren't talking, I'd worry something was wrong.
Yeah.
So.
And then at the end, what we'll do, and then I am actually going to stop talking and pick 4 names. So then we'll have 6 storytellers who will get announced eventually as the second rounders. That means 6 will not go through, but they'll stick around because they're in it for the right reasons and they're going to support. And then we'll have 6 tellers in the second round, and then we'll have 1 champion. And they will get the glory and all the goods and a few bucks to say, hey, you're number 1, you're the champion, and everybody else will have. Do we have a parting gift for them? I don't think we do.
Our thanks and love.
Did we give them? Are we giving them something other than just some sort of? I don't know.
Our thanks and love, I thought was.
I don't think
lot,
that's
but I
enough
guess
for
not.
most people,
I think you're
Mary.
fine.
I think they need more than your thanks and love. I think.
I don't know. I don't know about this.
We live in a world in which people want to be rewarded with material possessions.
Right.
So can we offer them? Maybe I should give someone one of my Peruvian hats.
Oh.
I doubt it. All right.
Okay.
I
Look at that.
I doubt that very much. I've got 12 names here. Let's get to it.
Let's do
Everybody
it.
here is qualified. They have prepared. Everybody's prepared 2 stories, and they have practiced, which I appreciate. So thank you, tellers, for being here. Thank you for audience for being here. We had actually more people than I expected, so I really appreciate that.
Yes.
And of
Awesome.
course, thanks to the Queen Mary, the one and only, the lovely Malden-based Queen Mary. Mary, I'm picking 4 names right now. I want everyone to be clear that there's no shenanigans going on here. 1, I'm not looking, I can't see. I mean, the opportunity to buy my vote or buy any influence is gone. I put the Venmo link in the post earlier. You didn't see it. It's too late. Here we go.
All right.
By the way, it's actually not too late. If you do want to Venmo me some money, I will make some shit happen for you. Trust me on that.
I won't let
if it is under 50, it ain't going to be much. But after over $50, because times are really lean right now, you're going to be in really good shape. You've got my word. We've got 4 names here, and we've got.
Come on, who's doing it?
Carolyn Erickson is number 1.
Wow. Yes.
Emily is number 2. I'm just picking these out. Andrew is number 3. Can you see that? Okay. I want to make sure you can see it.
Meh. It's a meh. Yeah, I gotta come up to there we go. There we go.
Andrew's number 3.
For the people in the cheap seats.
This is a hell of a first section, I'll tell you that. All right, I'm just gonna say the damn name because the light's getting in the way. And the way I look in the light is a hell of a lot more important. I need to look good.
Amen.
So screw the damn names.
No, we
but
all need
Tracey.
we all need our lights. Who is it?
So we've got Carolyn,
Yep.
Emily, Andrew, and Tracey.
Tracey. All right. Now,
right.
remember, our
Yep.
first teller does not want the 80-second.
We have two
warning.
storytellers who do not want the 80-second warning. Noted.
Mhm.
We're going to bring Carolyn Erickson here, who's joining us from Mexico. We have 3 countries here. She's unmuted. I'm going to spotlight her. I'm going to ask that everybody else, please mute yourself and please don't unmute yourself. Even though whatever you have to say is super important, just wait because it will get in the way and then I'll start belly dancing before I'm supposed to and that'll just upset you. Thank you very much, Carolyn. I'm going to spotlight you, young lady, and take your time, please.
I love words. I always have. But sometimes people say words that are just so wrong. I was leaving a 26-year-long marriage and it felt like I was sawing my arm off to save my life. And my friends said all these consoling words. Your husband will be okay. Your children will forgive you. You're going to meet somebody new. Life is good. Oh, really? So I drove across the river to the yoga studio and I stood in the back corner and I learned poses while crying. I like it here. Nobody knows me. Better yet, nobody talks to me. And Jeannie, the yoga teacher, she adjusts my poses without commenting on my crying. I come 3 times a week, and after a while, I notice that the people in the studio are saving the corner for me. It's my space. And now I'm crying less, and now I'm focusing on my poses more. And today, I held the tree pose for 1 minute each leg, no wobbling. And at the end of the class, we are all on the floor, me and these people who gave me silence and space. I can feel us all breathing. I can hear my own heart. I don't need consoling words. I never did. Thank you.
Boom. Thank you, Carolyn Erickson. How about that to start us off, Mary? How do you like them apples up there in Boston, as those kids back in the day said?
I'm telling you, she's right out of the gate. Boom. There's the
We
tone.
have a lot of good stories tonight. I mean, naturally, we always have a lot of good stories, but these are grand slammers.
Mhm.
I mean, come on, right?
It's a
So
World
that was
Series.
Carolyn.
Mhm.
We reached the World Series.
Yeah.
Which again won't include the Boston Red Sox, correct?
Oh. Wow.
Did I have to do that?
We're in a fight now. I just want
What's
you to know that.
interesting, you know what's fascinating? In our first section here, round 1, 3 different countries.
It's amazing.
Because Carolyn is in Mexico.
Hmm.
By the way, if I give you 10 guesses to where she's in Mexico, you're not going to get it. Trust me on that one. Our next storyteller is Emily. She is, we actually don't know if she's officially a nomad, where she resides, what her passport says. She's from the Pacific Northwest, but believe it or not, Mary and guests, she is in Iceland. I'm going to spotlight her. She knows the game. She knows the rules. Emily, when you're ready, break a leg.
I'm in Iceland on an extended vacation and I meet Olivia and she invites me to go road tripping with her. And I jump at the chance of going to the West Fjords and Northern Iceland. After our first day of road tripping, we park the car at a campsite next to the fancy hotel and go in search of the geothermal hot springs. It's 11 p.m., the midnight sun is out, and we're walking around trying to find these when it starts raining. It's windy, it's cold, I've stepped in marshy water, my shoes are soaked, and after an hour of searching, we just give up and head back to the campsite. But then Olivia sees the fancy hotel pool and says, why don't we just go in there? And I see the fence and the gate and the sign that's red in English that says permission required. And I think this is not a good idea, but I don't want to rock the boat with my new friend. So I open the gate and go in. I strip down to my swimsuit and get in. Olivia strips down to her skin and gets in. And as we're sitting in the hot water with the tension just melting away, Olivia looks up to the third-story window and says, Emily, somebody's watching us. And that's when I realize I have done a bad thing, and this is not gonna go well. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. And perhaps Reykjavik, we don't know. It might be suburban Reykjavik. You see what I'm doing there, Mary? Once in a while, I just sort of let everybody know how fucking smart I am.
We all know how smart you are, Sean.
But apparently it's not enough. I need more validation.
You
apparently.
need, yeah, well,
Once in a
listen,
while, I'll just throw in a world capital just to let you know I know.
it's all right. Like,
Yeah.
here's a virtual pen on the back, Sean. It's okay.
Oh, can we all, and real quick before we move on to our third storyteller, I love what you did with your nails. I love the
Thank
different
you.
colors.
Thank
Oh,
you.
we've got the red with one difference. Nice.
Yes. Yeah, you know, I got to change it up. Got to keep everybody on their toes, Sean. It's just,
You're good at that.
I try.
Mark, the capital of Peru. Come on, don't insult me. Are you kidding me, Lima, man? Lima! Our next two storytellers are in the Northeast. We know that there's a lot of good storytellers in the Northeast.
True facts.
Thank you for Carolyn and Emily for leading us off. Always a challenging spot to be in. Mr. Andrew Shelffo is up next. He is in Massachusetts. I spotlighted him, and Andrew, break a leg.
The phone stumps me. The one I have, it has 12 buttons on it, but I only use 10 of them. And this one here, it has 24 buttons. One says feature, one says park, one just says RLS. I spent a lot of time looking at this phone because there isn't much else to do on this internship. I'm supposed to be earning money while getting marketable skills so that I can get a job after I graduate with my English degree. I'm working at a world headquarters of a big, important company. And the headquarters is huge, several big buildings in a bucolic piece of land in the suburbs of New York City. They've given me a cubicle with a phone. I spend most of my day reading the Wall Street Journal, and really because there's nothing else to do. So far, I've learned how to tie a tie, so I don't look like Laurel or Hardy. And I've also learned that the Wall Street Journal does not have a crossword puzzle. My phone never rings. I have nobody to call because my friends are already in class or they're asleep. One day I press one of the buttons on the phone that I don't recognize and nothing happens. A few minutes later, the phone rings and I pick it up and I say hello because no one has told me the official way to answer the phone. And then a voice tells me, stop pressing the buttons. When my internship is over, I write a paper for my advisor about my experience. In it, I talk about the phone. And I also describe the guy who told me that I have to fill out a timesheet every week until I quit or die, and how the look in his eyes made me sad. My advisor tells me she loved my work and she loved how I used hyperbole, and I have no idea what she's talking about. Boom.
Thank you, Mr. Shelffo. Andrew's up in, he's not in your area, Mary. He's
No.
west of you.
Weston. For us here near Boston, we think that's New York,
Right.
pretty much.
Sure, people there really appreciate that.
Well, listen, they think we're all savages down here, and we all think they're in New York. So it's
Right. It's not
we're in the
here.
same state. You would think we'd all get along. We can't.
Yeah. Nope.
We're angry.
Better
people.
than Rhode Island. I have no idea if that's true, but it just
Tiny,
seems
tiny
like
state.
a fairly
Tiny.
easy place to make fun of.
because it's a tiny state.
Slightly behind Delaware, but hey, let's not digress too much. Our final storyteller lives in Maspeth, Queens. If she knows what I feel about Queens, or how I feel about Queens, because it's where I was born.
Right.
That's all you get for now. Let me spotlight her, and she will be our final storyteller of section 1. Her name is Tracey. Tracey, whenever you're ready, break a leg.
We're walking down the street on a crisp fall day. The sky is bright blue and the leaves have just started to turn. We're chatting about nothing in particular, and out of the blue, he says, "Do you think the universe is out to get me?" Without breaking stride or missing a beat, I reply, "No." There's a palpable moment of silence. But he continues, "Sometimes I really think the universe is out to get me." And I stop, I turn to him, and I take him by the shoulders. I look in his vacant eyes, searching for the person who I know is there, but who I can't find right now. "No," I say, That is not real. And we turn and we continue walking. Be careful, he says, the curb is coming up. We walk hand in hand. He guides me because my eyes don't work very well. And I am guiding him because right now his mind is not working very well. And we support each other. He walks me past a particularly treacherous part of the sidewalk and he warns, be careful. The road is rocky up ahead. And he squeezes my hand, but we'll get past it. Yes, we will, I say. And we keep walking.
All right, thank you, Tracey. What a way to get the Grand Slam season number 6 underway. I'm doing a little upper body movement, isolation, which I'm terrible at, by the way, but it just inspired me to move my body.
Well, listen, you're teasing the belly dancing that's coming up later. Gotta,
So,
gotta give him a taste, Sean. I get it.
That was round 1, section 1. We have 3 sections in round 1. And guess who has good news for you, Mary?
Do you, Sean?
The good news is that nobody went over, which means we will now transition into what you do as well as anybody here on Earth, which is your blurbs, your summarize. And then I will launch this poll. And again, remind everyone, you're going to pick your top 2. You're going to pick your top 2. Hang on one sec. Yep, I am ready when you are. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Carolyn didn't need the kind words from people to heal her heart. She needed the silence and the space of her yoga class and the group supporting her. Emily's in Iceland road tripping and decided to break the rules, but found out the person on the 3rd floor watching that wasn't necessarily a good idea to jump in the hot pool. Andrew had his internship with a phone that he wasn't quite sure what all the buttons did, but his professor actually likes what he did and he's not sure why. And Tracey answered the question, is the universe out to get me? For all of us, I think, because sometimes you need someone to guide you when your eyes aren't working so well or your mind isn't either.
I am going to do something I don't typically do. I'm trying to get this down to 1 word each. So for Carolyn, I put support. Give me a word for Emily.
Gosh, it's kind of boring, but pool.
Pool. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, and they just heard the stories and the summary. So this
True
is
facts.
Yeah, I put Andrew, I put internship, and Tracey, I put guide. Are we good?
I think we're fabulous.
All right. Remember, it's going to say when you see this poll in a moment, hopefully you will have an opportunity to pick your top 2 stories. If for whatever reason that isn't an option or you don't get the poll, don't freak out. Just unmute yourself and we can relaunch it. No big deal, but it should work. We've tested it once. Okay. once. So it should work just fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Once is usually more than enough. Here we go. Everybody gets to vote other than Queen Mary and myself, which should mean up to 42 sentient beings. Let us see what happens. Here we go.
Oh, there we go. I was gonna say for a second, I was like, I didn't see anybody voting, but now the voting has commenced.
It's a little delayed because they have 2.
That's true. Look at that.
Yeah.
See? It's working out fabulous.
It's working out because if you do the math, there's more than 42, which means people are putting in 2. And Zoom does some quick math, puts it together, creates this whole thing. There's these fancy algorithms, and now we have answers.
Wow.
And I think there are 3 more people that could vote.
Yeah.
But it's actually not going to matter.
No.
So we're going to close this poll. We'll give it another 5 seconds because, sometimes people just want to vote.
People are running back from the bathroom or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. What else do you think they might be doing, Mary?
I don't think they're probably grabbing a drink or, showing their dog on screen. Anyone want to show their dog on screen?
So if it looks like one person didn't get the poll, and I don't know why that is, Jax, I apologize. It's not going to make a difference, so I don't want to rob you of voting, but it will not make a difference in this poll.
Shweta didn't either. Hi, Shweta.
Did anybody else? Please message us in the chat if you didn't get it. That's a little weird.
Yeah.
It looks like everybody but Jax and Shweta didn't get it. And executive decision, as much as I want to include everyone always, it won't make it, the top two are very
Right.
clear in this one.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep it, and we'll work it out. That shouldn't happen again, but we'll do the best we can.
Yeah.
What we
And
can do, if it is close and you don't get a poll, is you can simply send your top two names to Mary or me, and we'll work it out. All right, noted. So there's a few people that are having
Okay.
some trouble. I promise you, it does not affect the results of this section, so you're good. 100% note down.
Yep.
I'm almost saying it so much that you feel I'm over saying it. People are like, we get it, Sean.
yeah, let's go to
Now we
round
don't
2, Sean.
You because you just keep going on and on.
Sean, round 2.
My
Come on,
God.
get that Peruvian hat out, will you? All right.
Great job, first section people.
Amazing.
First rounder, section 1. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Here we go. Here's the hat. Here are the names. Number 1's going to be Neshama. I know you can't see it. Just trust me.
Neshama.
Briane, Erica,
Angela.
Angela. All right. In that order. Wow. This is a really talented group of storytellers here this evening.
Unbelievable.
Neshama, Briane, Erica, Angela. This is round 1, section 2. Let us find the lovely Neshama Franklin,
Out in California.
California. It looks like everybody's here, so we're going to spotlight her. And whenever you are ready, Neshama, break a bone.
I sat on my glasses. One arm stuck out at an ominous angle. This was especially difficult because my old glasses, which I had to wear driving, quadrupled the double yellow line on the road. So it was white knuckle. I made an appointment to get them fixed. That appointment got botched. I made another appointment. I showed up. They looked confused. You were yesterday. No, I'm not. I threw myself on their mercy. They said, we'll talk to a manager. And in 5 minutes, I was across from Clyde. He was the guy who had given me these glasses 3 years ago, chose them magnificently. And as he fiddled for a half an hour, I should say, with all those pliers and those little screws, for some mysterious reason, he opened up to me. And he said, you know, I'm really not good with ordinary chatter. I mean, maybe it was my father. He was in the service and he did covert operations and he was really kind of shut down, but he was brilliant. He spoke 12 languages. He didn't have a college degree. And then when he remembered that I worked in a library, he pulled out his phone and he showed me all the books he had been reading and the books that changed his life. And so by the end of that half hour, my glasses were fixed and my double vision on the road was fixed too. But I had also had a double vision between me and Clyde from soul to soul. And that is good optometry.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin. She's out in California, Mary. Guess what? Guess what?
What?
2 of our storytellers here in section 2 live in California. We've got
Wow.
another section where there's more than one country.
Wow.
Got the United States and our neighbors to the north.
Wow.
So you could say fairly, we're global.
We are global. It's true.
I like global better than international for some reason. Global feels it's like a more powerful word.
Yeah, it's an important word, global.
Feels important.
And we are global. So here we are.
You certainly are.
Yeah, well, I don't know if the globe wants me, Sean.
Yeah.
But listen, you
That's
got a Peruvian hat. So who isn't, there's someone else global here also.
Conversation for another day. Yes.
Yes,
Let
it
us-
is.
Let us mosey from Northern California and we will crisscross our way until we finally reside somewhere in, I guess, probably suburban Toronto. He's probably used to be cool enough to live in downtown. He's probably moved out to the burbs. Who the hell knows?
Who knows?
We'll find out later. Yeah, it's
No.
okay. No one cares. No, I'm just kidding. We care. Brian, whenever you're ready, you handsome man, break a leg.
I come home from work and find out my ex-wife-to-be has moved out and has taken our little white Maltese schmutzy to our next-door neighbor, Bernice, who's kind of deaf and elderly, but she's a lovely woman and she says she'll take care of my dog anytime I want. So every morning before I go to work, I take the dog over to Bernice's and I pick her up every night. And I keep doing that even after I stop working because I could see they have a lovely bond. They've got a fabulous friendship. And over the months, the same thing happens with me and Bernice. The three of us walk together. I take her around the corner to the Greasy Spoon for lunch. I do her shopping. And she has no family really, so she asked me to be her power of attorney. And the three of us form a little family. She's the Gentile grandmother I never had. It's 5 years later, and Bernice has a stroke, and I have to take her to the hospital. The next day, Schmutzy is beside herself. She's anxious. There's no friend around, and she stops eating. And a day after that, I take Schmutzy to the vet. And for a week, I'm going back and forth seeing both of them. Friday at noon, I'm holding Bernice's hand when she passes away. Saturday at 3 o'clock, Schmutzy's kidneys fail, and we put her to sleep. I cry. I've lost two of the closest characters in my life. The funeral happens and it's an open casket, and I bring this beautiful picture of Schmutzy with me. I put it in the box next to Bernice because, really, the two friends should spend eternity together. Boom.
Thank you, Mr. Brian. Never did find out Mary exactly where he lives in that metropolis, but we might after at some point if he wants to share. He might be a little pissed at me for saying he's a suburban guy. I get that. Nobody really wants that label, do they?
No,
I
I don't know. Some people might.
don't know. if
We don't
that's
know.
true.
I mean, are you a suburban guy? Would
Now
you
I'm
be-
upset. Obviously, I'm not somebody who wants that label. You're not wrong, but I'm not happy about it.
Well,
You have to do this in public in front of like 50 people.
well, they understand us, Sean. They understand our relationship. They do.
Yeah. We're gonna actually ping pong back to California now. Go a little
Oh.
south of where Neshama lives to LA, Tinseltown. You know what I'm
All right.
saying?
I
La
do know
La
what you're saying.
Land, all sorts of nicknames for the Los Angeles area.
Yeah, yes.
We are going to ask Erica to unmute and then
No.
spotlight her.
Don't forget,
She
80
does
seconds.
not want the 80-second warning.
There you go. See, you knew. I didn't. You don't.
Most
you didn't
people
need me.
want the warning,
I know.
but she doesn't. So
She
we're
does
gonna
not.
honor that
Of course.
if I can find her.
You'll find. You need help finding her, Sean.
Hey, if
Oh,
I talk,
she-
you can find me.
Yeah. Then yeah, you pop up. There you are.
So you're
Hi.
spotlighted and you're unmuted. So take your time, and whenever you're ready, you'll start.
Okay.
Cool.
Are you sure I'm lighted? Am I?
Let me make sure.
Oh, I am? Okay,
I think
okay.
you are. Yeah, I think you are.
Not that I was like, oh, I have to be spotlight. I didn't want it to change in the middle because I have
She
no
didn't
attention
get
span.
big like the others did before. Now
Oh,
she-
there we
I've
go.
got
Okay.
it. She is spotlighted now.
Okay, cool.
You're good.
Thank you. All right. I'm 9 years old. My happy place is Camp Pine Forest, an overnight camp in the Poconos. I love the activities and being away from my parents. They put me on my first diet when I was 7 years old. They packed me Slim Fast shakes for lunch. And they say if I'm fat, a man is never going to love or marry me. The only thing I hate at camp is swimming. I'm already ashamed of my body, even though I'm only 9. It's torture having to be in a bathing suit in front of all the girls. And then at my happy place, I'm blindsided. A big camp announcement is made. There's going to be a swim meet and it's going to be co-ed. I will have to be in a bathing suit in front of all the boys. It's the day of the meet. The pool is packed. I keep my towel wrapped around my body like my security blanket. It's finally my turn. Wanting no one to see my body, I keep my towel wrapped around me till the very last second. The race is off to a start. I'm frantically swimming. All I want to do is be wrapped back up in that towel, my body concealed. And just when I think I can't possibly take one more stroke, I feel the wall. I had made it back and I had won in record time. I stand there, my towelless body exposed, taking in the sound of the boys and girls. Are they laughing? No, they're cheering. They're cheering for me.
Thank you, Erica in LA. Thank you very much, Erica. Mary, I imagine people in LA don't say they're from LA when they're talking to people from LA. They probably say like their neighborhood in LA.
I would think,
Because
yeah.
Elena Beth this year, she's also nodding. She's in California.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. Like if I talk, a friend of mine lives in Manhattan Beach. So it's always, she's not from LA. She's from Manhattan Beach.
Right.
Yeah. So
When
I
you're in
did notice that.
Boston, right. It's a varies.
Well,
from
yeah.
city to city.
Boston, we have like Jamaica Plain and South Boston. And yeah, everybody kind of, they have their villages that they like to identify with.
Yeah.
I get it. We have to have our place.
We need
Yeah.
our tribes, don't we?
We do. We sure do. Like the 99 Second Story tribe folks here,
Arguably.
right?
Did you just, okay.
See, you set it up. I knocked it down. Here we are.
You know, it's going to surprise everybody who's listening to this. We don't script this.
No,
Believe it or not, this is just, I know.
I know everybody's very surprised
Yeah. You're shocked.
by our
All
shenanigans.
right,
Right.
we're going to Massachusetts now.
Yeah.
She's also a bit of a traveler. She's always seems to be around doing things, meeting people in random places.
Yeah.
Not random because she plans the trip, but anyway, her name is Angela and she's here and she's unmuted. I'm going to spotlight her. She's the final storyteller of round 1, section 2. Angela, break a leg.
Thanks. Setting up my timer here.
Yep, take your time.
When I was little, while the rest of us were eating our drumsticks and the other good parts of the chicken, my grandmother would sit there and she would pick tiny bits of meat from the backbone. And she insisted that it was her favorite part. Once my family took a day trip and we decided to splurge and bring a coconut pie back from one of those spinning carousels at a diner. We cut it into pieces and someone took a bite. The baker had forgot to put in the sugar. My grandmother took all the pieces and she put them back in the tin. And over the course of the week, she ate the entire pie because you don't let food go to waste. A few years ago, my mom came to visit and she brought me a present, the most beautiful dark green acorn squash that my 90-year-old grandma had grown in her garden. I set it on the counter. For weeks, I looked at it. For weeks, I did not cook it. As it grew hard and dry and hollow, and then I put it in the trash, which is the worst thing that I could have possibly done in her eyes. But if I had cooked it, it would be gone in a day or two. But I had it on my counter for weeks, and for weeks it felt like my grandma was in my kitchen with me. And so when she asked me how the squash was, I said that it was perfect because it was, because there's more than one way you can feed a person. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Oh, a bit of an echo.
I was going to say, what are you doing over there?
I'm not doing anything.
All right.
Some sort of spirit.
I guess so. Someone wanted to
A
join
little
us.
bit of your milieu, if you want to
Fine.
know what the hell is happening over here and why
Mm.
ghosts are invading my fucking microphone.
There's a ghost in the machine.
Guess who's got good news for both you and everybody else here, including the 4 storytellers? This bald guy, nobody went over time. We've got 4 more stories. And yes, Elena Beth, you are correct. All of these are, this is challenging. There will no doubt be many good storytellers and stories who will not go through. It's just the nature of particularly a grand slam, right?
No kidding.
It is, it's true. I mean, you know, I
It's
want
true.
everybody to win, but it didn't work that way. All right, let's give
Same.
us our 4 summaries and then we shall launch the second poll.
All right. Neshama had got her double vision of her glasses fixed and also made a double vision connection to Clyde of soul to soul, chatting about family and life. Briane, with a situation that happened when his ex-wife moved out, he connected with Bernice and connected them to Schmutzy and then lost them both. Elena won the race, even though she was worried. The swimming race, she won. And people were cheering for her instead of people laughing at her as she thought might happen. And Angela decided not to make squash, which her grandmother might think is a sin, but it was a perfect way for her to get fed.
And it was
All right.
Erica, not Elena.
Erica,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry. Yes, Erica. Yes.
fair.
Sorry.
It's Erica in the poll.
Yes.
And just so everyone knows, because I'm not nearly as good as Mary is at this, I have put Neshama vision Brian, loss. Erica, cheer. Angela, food. You've heard the stories. You just heard them. You heard Mary. I think it's enough to be fair here. Again, you're going to pick your top 2 stories with our
Sorry,
new.
Erica. Sorry.
That's all right. So again, Neshama, Brian, Erica, Angela. 42 people can vote. We hope you all do. We'll leave it up for like 40 seconds or so.
There you
Let
go.
us vote.
This one is close.
Yep.
Mhm.
Let us know if you did not get this poll, please.
Yeah, please.
You could do it in the chat, and first let us know that, and then we'll let you know what to do, which is going to be picking your top 2 stories and sending them directly to Queen Mary.
Yep.
You might just say Mary, not Queen Mary on there.
What?
I don't
What?
think it's fair. I'm
Oh,
just
now
saying that
we're in a fight again, just so you know. I mean, like, what is this?
right now, there are 3 people who have not voted. I assume everyone got the poll. And by the way, I'm going to wait a little bit here because while we do have somebody who has the most total votes, we have a 2-way tie for second.
Well, someone did not get the poll, and I'm getting some of that information now.
All right, we'll wait. It's fine. If you want to take a quick tinkle, I just said that. We'll get a drink. This might be a little extra 30 seconds or a minute. So do what you got to do because we want to get it right. People have worked very hard to prepare for this.
They
We want to
have.
make sure we get it right. And
So-
Mary, if you have the information, would you
Yeah.
just? Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. I'm
It's
writing it
been
down.
a minute and 40 seconds. It's enough time for everyone to vote. I assume at least 2 people who haven't voted just are choosing not to vote or unavailable. So that's that.
That's fine.
Mary, does the information you just got from this other person change the final?
Yep.
Want to let me know?
It does. So I'll text it on over to you. Mhm.
Okay. Can we close the poll?
You can close it.
All right. Thank you all for being flexible.
Such a good
Something
group.
interesting happened. And so section 3 of round 1, which is our final section, one of our storytellers, unfortunately, it seems to have gotten sick. So she is no longer with us. Now, just to be very clear, she's not in the Zoom meeting. I assume she's with us.
Yeah.
I just don't freak out. She's probably fine.
Yeah. But she had to step away. So
Right.
right. It was probably our
So-
comedy. Just made her sick. We finally taken someone out, Sean.
So
Damn it.
we're gonna do the same thing, to in the moment decision, but we're gonna do the same thing we have. We'll
Mhm.
have the 3 storytellers and the top 2. We can't really change the system now.
No.
So that's what it is. I'm gonna. So I've only got 3 names. So there might be some storytellers from the first 2 sections that are like, "Oh man, that's so unfair." But first of all, probably not. I'm just projecting.
Right.
That's probably what's happening.
Yeah.
I do that a lot, and but it is what it is. Can't do anything about it, and we hope you get better soon.
Yes.
First
definitely.
storyteller of our final section round 1 is going to be. I don't know if you can see this because I have some lighting issues. I apologize. Is Steph. Then Mark. I work on my lighting. I got to hire somebody. And then finally, Carolyn T. Second Carolyn tonight. This is Carolyn T. Again, that's going to be Steph, Mark, and Carolyn. I'm going to find Steph Rogers.
I'm here.
Yes, you are.
Hey, Steph.
Hi.
And we are going to, I'm going to stop talking, believe it or not. And then you are going to start your story whenever you're ready.
All right. Sorry. I totally wasn't ready at all.
You're a gamer.
Okay. Hold on. Setting my phone.
Take your time.
Okay. I'm studying theater in college, which is sort of like saying to the world, I don't believe in reality. I don't have any discernible skills. And yes, I engage in magical thinking. I'm in the Boston University School of the Arts lounge, and I'm watching this adorable guy. He looks about 5'4", and he's air conducting an invisible orchestra. It turns out that he's this amazing cook who loves tantric sex. So I fall in love and I gain 15 pounds. His name is Chambliss Martino Joby, and his parents are these very fancy artists in Manhattan. I am nothing like Cham. I am not worldly. I am not well read. I don't know anything about the Russian Revolution. All I know is that being with Cham is like listening to beautiful, beautiful music every day, all day. So when I transfer to Northwestern back in the Midwest, I am heartbroken to leave him. But we make regular trips to see each other. And he writes me these phenomenal letters like, "My dear Stephanie, I relish your every angle." I land a part in a play and he gets a job with the Brooklyn Academy of Music. And we're usually way too busy to talk on the phone late at night. And the phone calls get less and less. And when we finally do talk, I say to him, "Cham, it feels like we're not really a couple anymore, are we?" And he says, "Stephanie, my darling, we're not." After we hang up the phone, I go down to the Northwestern beach and I sit there looking out at the water and I think, this isn't real. My life will never be like this again. Boom.
Thank you, Ms. Stephanie Rogers from Story Jam. We will give all the storytellers an opportunity to talk a little bit about what they do, story stuff, presumably. But hey, we'll do that after the first round, before the second round. We got a little treat after the second round. I'm not gonna keep that little secret here. We got a little treat. You can
You're belly
use the
dancing.
chat. Yeah, well, I didn't commit to belly dancing, but let's just say that's one option, one possibility. Sorry, Mary, Queen. And I will also add, and I should have said this, and I think everybody knows this, by the way, you can use the chat function if you want to communicate before you have a chance to unmute and actually talk, which we usually do after the slam because we like talking.
We do.
Shocker that you heard that from this guy. No shit, Sean, really? You like to talk?
A little bit.
You
Just a
like to
little
do
bit.
that? Really? Wow.
You like to
Okay.
talk, yeah.
Great, buddy. That wasn't
They throw
fucking-
you out of a silent retreat, Sean. We all know this.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay. It's who you are. We embrace you.
Are you ready to move on?
I
I think the time.
wow. Wow. Okay.
Mr. Mark is in the Massachusetts area. We always have a lot of people from your state. It's interesting. He's going to unmute. I'm going to spotlight him. His name is Mark. He's got a mustache. Mark, break a leg.
The internet keeps inventing new ways to make things weird. A few weeks ago, I'm sitting at my computer and suddenly, ding, Facebook Messenger. It's Chris, my college ex-girlfriend. She and I did not part on good terms. She drove me to drink pretty much my entire senior year away. 5 years later, her best friend calls me up and says, "I have to go cheer up Chris. She's depressed. It's her birthday. The guy she thought she was going to marry just dumped her." Chris says that my birthday card is stupid and my flowers are ugly. I haven't seen her for like over 20 years. Last time I saw her was at Six Flags. My wife and I took our first anniversary, went to Six Flags, and right there in line in front of us for the ride was Chris and her entire family. And I just got the fuck out. Anyway, so Facebook dings. And it's this picture of a painting I did and gave to Chris 38 years ago. Last year, Chris's husband died at age 53. And the message says, "Look what I found emptying out the house. You want it?" What do you say to someone offering you the carcass of a dead love from her graveyard? Boom.
Thank you, Mark. Mary, Mark chose to end his story with a boom. Most people know that's just sort of organically grown. You don't have to do it, but it actually is a very clear way to signal that your story is over. Some people say thank you, or thanks, or boom,
bow.
or nothing.
Yes, but I like the
Some
boom.
people, I don't recall the bow, but I believe you.
Well, you know, if they haven't started doing that, then someone's going to pick it up now. I mean, no one's going to make me a liar, so we're fine.
Wouldn't be surprised if our final storyteller bowed, is what you're saying.
Hey,
it's a lot of
Never
pressure
know.
for Carolyn. Carolyn T is not Carolyn E. let's be very clear. Interestingly, Carolyn E in Mexico was our first storyteller.
Right.
Carolyn T, well, I'm actually not sure where she is, but she'll tell us later, is our final storyteller of round one. She's unmuted. I'm going to spotlight her. Carolyn, I think she's in New York. Yep.
She's nodding.
Whenever you're ready, take your time. Break a leg.
Oxytocin is the hormone that floods a mother's system when she gives birth. It's the hormone that promotes bonding between a mother and child. Well, the cruel trick of nature is that, I'm told, it stays in your system for 30 years. So here I am with a 25-year-old daughter, and I'm walking around saying, honey, let's bond. And she's like, I'm living my best life. You're like, back off. So I've got a problem, and I have to solve this problem. Now, I'm usually a left brain thinker. So the way I approach problems is I'll research, I'll think, I'll plot, I'll plan, I'll map things out. Well, I have friends who think very differently. And what they did was they gave me a healing candle. So, okay, I decide, let me do both. And I set about with my peepers one night, and I light the candle. And all of a sudden, a 2-foot flame shoots out of the candle, and I grab it, turn it over into a planter to extinguish it, and it shoots hot wax all over my hands, and giving me second-degree burns. So the irony here is that the healing candle injured me, but I did learn that when solving a problem, sometimes the best thing to do is just leave it alone.
Thank you, Carolyn T, the Big Apple, which is a nickname for those of you that do not know. I think you probably do, for the city of Bureau.
Oh my goodness.
Like people call Beantown is Boston, or the Windy City, or
Right.
Tinseltown.
All
That's
that.
what some people call New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now,
Well, there
good
you go.
news. We all of our first round storytellers, nobody went over. And I will say, one of the things I say, this is behind the scenes. Hey, please get your stories that time or under. That's a lame way to go out. Occasionally it happens. Not this time. Grand Slam 6. Nobody went over yet. They won't in the next round.
They won't.
Well, now, what we're going to do now is Mary will do the summaries. We will have another poll. We'll take about 5 minutes. And in that time, obviously, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to put Mary on the spot.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to ask her to ask each of our storytellers one fairly simple question. The same question. You got to think about it. You got time. You got a lot of work to do. You didn't
I mean,
expect
really,
that.
I'm summarizing, and now I got to ask questions.
Yeah, you got a
and-
lot of. I can do it if you want, but I just think you're better at it. I want to.
No, it's
Just want to learn a little bit more about our storytellers, but we got to be quick because we don't have that much time, really.
I know.
But we've got 3 storytellers to summarize and a poll, and so let me just pull this up. Hang on one sec.
Sure.
I was going to ask if you're ready, but
You know I'm ready.
You're
And yeah,
ready.
no, MJ, really, I should ask for a raise, right? I mean, I'm just trying to keep.
You're not
I'm trying to
helping
keep my
here.
joy.
MJ,
MJ's my girl.
can
She's
you
one of
mute
my
MJ,
girls.
please? Just mute her. All right, let's go.
All right. Steph, after a broken heart, sat on the beach and realized that her experience with Cham was not real, and it wasn't going to be as magical as it was ever again. Mark, well, all I have to say is the line of a carcass of a dead love when a friend, an ex, asked him if he wanted a painting back after many, many years. And Carolyn learned that after the healing candle absolutely did not heal her. Solving a problem, sometimes it's just better to leave it alone.
I put Steph Magic, Mark Carcass, Carolyn Healing. Deal with it.
Yeah, I think all those work.
Believe me, the 1 or 2 words I put on this thing are not going to make a difference. As much influence as I think I have been humbled, and I have learned I have almost nothing.
No.
And maybe that's a good thing. Ooh, there might be a story there somewhere.
There
Let's
you
go. Let's launch this baby. Let's do it.
Let's just do it. Come on.
Let's go.
We got people to move through the next round.
Let's go. Another tight race. Me and Mary are loving this.
I do. I like it when I see it's close because it means, we have amazing storytellers and people have listened and enjoyed them and it's all that good stuff. Of course. And again, folks, if you didn't get the poll, we need to know that.
Please let us know.
Yes, please.
Please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
They will message you or yes, reach out to Mary. It's just as easy to let her know. And then you will give Mary no shenanigans here. We'll know if you're trying to double things up. Believe me, we've got some insiders. It's not our first rodeo, people.
Nuh-uh.
Gonna give it 5 more seconds. Is anyone reaching out to you, Mary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's not making it. It's not
Will
making
make a difference. Okay.
No.
We're gonna close the poll then.
Well, we
Great.
appreciate the vote. Definitely.
We do.
We do.
We got to get out there and vote, people.
Yes.
All
That's
right. I
right.
want to turn this into a political.
You're not. There's lots of stuff to vote for. Oh my goodness.
Right. Maybe
know?
that's a good question you could ask the storytellers. I'll leave it up to you because right now we've got our 6 finalists, which by the way, they're not even finalists. They're Grand Slam finalists. That means they have gone through several things here to get to the point, having the chance to be a Grand frickin' Slam champion. I'm wondering, yes. So 1, that's done. 2,
Okay.
good time to go use the bathroom. Get a drink.
Not on camera, of course.
Preferably not on camera.
No, please.
While
don't.
you do that, before we announce who's going through, and they'll be prepping, I suppose, at some point soon for their stories in the second round. Mary,
Me.
Dalba,
Me.
Would you please address all the storytellers? Do I need to give you names?
No. I know who they are.
Yep. I just want to ask you the one question, and I'd like you to ask the same question. Don't mix it up each time, and that's it.
No.
Engage them, and then other people here, the audience. After we're done, you can also unmute and we'll talk and you can share stuff. We always want that. But right now, I want to learn a little bit more about our Grand Slam finalists.
Yeah. So I will pose. Oh, hold on.
Post the question.
My mic actually did something. Hold on. Can you still hear me? Okay, here we go. So the question I have for everybody is now that COVID is subsided a little bit, it seems that we're all doing things that we haven't done for a while. So I was curious to know what folks have been doing now that a lot of the restrictions have lifted, and what are people up to? They
I
haven't been
will
able to for a
add,
while.
you only have like 10 seconds each. So we don't need your whole life. Just choose one thing.
Yeah. So do you want me to go through our list of folks?
I want you to make a choice and do whatever you want because you're good
Okay.
at this.
Yeah. So round 1, we had Carolyn, Emily, Andrew, and Tracey. So if any of y'all would like to answer that, love to hear. Yeah. Mark went to a storytelling show this afternoon. Some people are putting them in the comments, which is amazing.
All right.
But we'd love to hear it
you
too.
take care of everybody who might be responding verbally, and I'll read out. Okay.
Okay. So
Mark in Massachusetts, who has a mustache, a lot of M's, went to a storytelling show this afternoon. Nice. Elena Beth, who didn't tell a story, but this is actually a good question for everybody, really.
Yeah.
We started out with the tellers, but it's becoming more universal, and I think we should roll with that. Elena Beth said COVID is getting worse among my friend group.
Sorry,
Debbie Downer. Just kidding. Just kidding. Barbara Peterson in Chicago. Elena Beth's in California. You know I love locations, right?
I know.
Barbara Peterson said, "Up to no good with or without the pandemic." Wink, wink. If you know what she means.
Yes. Wink, wink,
Carolyn.
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Yes.
We do, I think. Carolyn went to a paint workshop and met Tracey Starin there. So that must have been Carolyn T.
Fun. Super fun.
Huh. By the way, I recently met Tracey Starin in person for the first time too. So I know, or I assume that Carolyn was also like, that was fun. I got to meet Tracey.
Angela took a trip to Portugal. I'm on Angela's Facebook. I saw some of the stuff. You were having problems with your Wi-Fi and stuff like that, Angela. But you made it through, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I had to go old school because my phone, AT&T let me down. And so I had no navigation. So I was out there wandering and getting lost on the regular.
This is such a typical thing that seems to happen to you, though. You always have these interesting things happen on vacation.
They do. And sometimes they lead to really magical moments. And a few times it did.
Yep.
Ooh,
Mary Jo got COVID. Debbie Downer. Oh my
Sorry,
God.
girl.
No, I like your honesty always. You know I'm joking. Steph is squeezing tons of outdoor racket sports into her very brief Chicago summer, which is, knowing her, it's mostly tennis and paddleball, or
Yay.
pickleball, excuse me. Brian, I'm just taking over here.
It's fine. What's new?
Nothing. Brian decided to close a bank account and flew business to Dubai for the World's Fucking Fair. I put in the fucking wow.
Let's go. That's very cool stuff.
Close a bank account. What?
$9,000 to fly business return.
Wow.
Good for you. Good for you.
Emily's traveling all over, starting with Iceland.
Yes. Concerts, eating in restaurants. Yeah.
Tracey, concerts, storytelling shows, eating in restaurants. Erica's producing and hosting a live storytelling show. Not surprised we have storytelling stuff happening here. You can put this in here if you are not a teller tonight, but there'll be an opportunity just after the Grand Slam champion is announced, where we'll let people unmute and share your stuff, because we do want to let people know about what you're all up to, particularly story related stuff. Like if you're, changing the transmission in your car, it's not the right space for that.
Probably not.
But if you're producing a show or you got an announcement around something you're teaching, that's great.
Neshama, did you have your hand up?
I have my hand up. I'd always rather speak than type.
Yeah,
my daughter and I went to see an amazing, thoughtful storyteller comic, Hannah Gadsby, on Friday week. Huge turnout, but that's the only big thing I've done because COVID is still around.
Yeah. I know. It just, a lot of the restrictions have gotten lifted, so I think people are doing more. But it's still out there. We're all just trying to do our best.
Massachusetts mustache Mark Modrall went to 2 separate birthday parties for 90-year-olds. Steph is producing shows, and Barbara loved Iceland. Okay, now we're getting to some circular moments of conversation, which might not be quite as interesting, but Barbara loves Iceland. Yes. Anybody else, whether you want to use the chat or just unmute yourself like the lovely Miss Franklin did and just say it. Otherwise, in a moment, about now, I'm going to announce the 6 human beings who are going through to the second round. Unlike the first round, what I'm going to do this time is just mix it up, and then I'm going to do it one at a time. So they don't know in advance. They don't get to prepare as much. And we will have the same, I think it's called rank choice voting. So again, you will be able to choose your top 2 stories. Here we go. Trust me when I tell you these were just in the hat. Pulled them out. Here we go. And there's no order here. There's just 6 names. The 6 human beings going through to the second round of season 6, Grand Slam 99, yada, yada, is Brian up in Toronto, Tracey up in Queens, Steph in Chicago, Carolyn Erickson in Mexico, Angela in, we think, Massachusetts, or Portugal, or wherever she is, and Mark, Mustache Mark in Massachusetts. So you will all be chosen. I will choose one of you in a moment. You will start your second round story. And to those of you who did not get through, please stay. I know I don't want to sound at all like weird or trite. You know I'm bad with vocabulary, right? I need Corey right now because he's a fucking master with this stuff. Those were really good stories.
Amazing. And guys, they were so close. It was so
the voting was very, very close. And
Oh
I know
my
I
God.
probably said it a lot, but it was.
It really was. It was
So-
hard.
You need my help?
I'm
Sorry,
sorry. Sorry, what?
It's like Beetlejuice. You called me and I am here. What do you need, Sean?
Right now, I would need you to mute yourself. I'm just kidding. All right. Yeah, no, seriously, mute yourself.
I have a 4-letter word that rhymes with mute.
After the stories, Corey, after the stories, everybody's here. If I didn't say specifically, thank you for being here. To all of our guests, thank you for being here. I didn't specifically name names, but I appreciate it, as does Queen Mary, I believe.
Absolutely.
Storytellers, I believe. Now what I'm going to do, Mary, is I'm going to mix up our 6 names here. I'm just going to ask you to say stop, and the person on top is going to go first. It's just that simple.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Stop.
Tracey. She's rolling her eyes. Tracey, get mad at Mary. She decided to do it. She said when to stop.
All right, it's
All right,
Mary's fault.
It's
We all
usually my fault. Yeah.
We all know that the first spot's a little challenging, so hang on one sec. We don't need to rush. I'm gonna get my timer out and take your time. Whenever you're ready, break a leg.
Okay. I watched with fascination as Miss Herman opened the mini fridge that I didn't even know was under her desk and pulled out a brown paper bag lunch that looked remarkably like mine. In 6th grade, there was nothing more enviable than being invited to have lunch with the teacher in the classroom while the rest of the class ate in the cafeteria. It was only for special occasions, and today was a very special occasion. She pulled a chair close to her desk so that we could have our little cold cut sandwiches on white bread together. We chatted about our classwork, and she gossiped with me a little bit about the teachers, and we talked about the monumental thing that was happening today. She even shared her chips with me. I was ecstatic. I thought, this is what it must be like to be an adult having lunch out with friends. This was my reward for all the extracurricular activity I had done throughout the year and for being so interested in science and space that semester. At the right time, she wheeled the big AV cart out and turned on the television and pulled up a chair next to me. And we counted down. And then we watched Space Shuttle Challenger blast off. It was so exciting. She grabbed my hand and we watched with wonder and amazement as 6 astronauts and 1 civilian teacher floated off into space until 73 seconds later, when Space Shuttle Challenger burst into flames before our very eyes and plummeted back to Earth.
Thank you, Tracey. Mary, you remember that?
I do. I do.
Yeah. I think in as much as our memories are not always accurate, I'm pretty sure I remember going to school the next day. For some reason, we didn't have school. I think it was a Monday. I'm probably wrong, but I remember that was the year the Chicago Bears crushed the New England Patriots. I'm sorry, I'm not hating on Boston here.
It is.
That Chicago Bears team was unbeatable.
They were.
It is.
I remember going
Refrigerator
back
Perry.
to school. Yeah,
That's
I remember
right.
going back to school thinking, do I talk about the Super Bowl or do I talk about the Challenger? I remember that. So I don't think I'm wrong there. It's one of those moments, very few moments that is like national or international. You kind of remember it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You remember places you were and things like that. I think, was the quarterback Jim McMahon? Was that his name?
Yes.
From that story, we're talking about the Bears.
Look at what you did here.
Is that
Look at what you
we're
did.
talking about the Bears?
Well,
and
you were doing your little dig about Boston.
Super
That's
Bowl
all right.
shuffle?
All right.
Look,
I can take it.
That
It's
was
here in Boston.
That was before anybody cared about the Patriots. It's not like it is.
No,
now.
of course not. Yeah.
No. It was before the Brady
Different
years.
time. It's different time.
Different time.
All right. We have to stop. Tracey can't say anything more because she's going to influence the judges.
Right.
There's no influencing anybody with these stories. We don't want to influence anybody. They're going to choose their top 2 stories when all 6 storytellers have gone, and there will only be one winner. That's how ranked choice works, yo. All right, Mary, I'm going to keep doing this to you. Actually, you know what? Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. I'm not using you. I'm going to use Corey this time. Corey, unmute yourself, please. Corey wanted to get involved. I'm going to involve him.
All right.
Unless he chooses not to be involved, which
All
is
right.
awkward.
Mr. May can do that if he wants. That's
Corey
fine.
Thomas May in the Flyover Land. Please say stop whenever you're ready.
Stop, Sean.
I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what you mean exactly. But with that smile and that little gap, you get away with everything, which kills me. It kills me. Our next storyteller is going to be Mustache Mark in Massachusetts. Mark, whenever you're ready, break a leg.
sometimes you have to admire the tenacity, even in a failed effort, just like the Spartans and the Persians. A few weeks ago, I was working out in my yard, digging holes, shuffling dirt around, just moving sod, all that kind of stuff. I think that's relevant, maybe. Later in the evening, I was downstairs in the basement on my exercycle, cycling away, and I felt this sharp pain in my groin, and I thought it was my underwear binding. So I just grabbed it and I yanked, gave it a good pull, and the pain went away. So I was fine. And later I showered, had dinner, watched TV, did all the rest of things for the night. And then just before bed at 10 o'clock, I sat down to pee. And when I shook off the last drop, I noticed there was something, I thought it was like a piece of lint stuck to my penis. So I went to flick it away, but it wouldn't flick. So I tugged it a little bit. And that's when I realized that this was an ant, like a third of an inch long ant with his mandibles in a death munch. Now, I can't honestly say how long he was there, but I have a good idea when he went in for the kill. And damn, I just have to admire the ambition. Boom.
Thank you, Mark. I'm not supposed to laugh, Mary, because I don't want to influence anything. Again, I don't think I have that much sway here, but you don't hear penis every day in stories. You know what I mean? Some people shy away from using certain words. I always admire people who, like Tracey and like Mark, who just go there. They go for it. Like the stories tonight, we had some that were more serious, some that were a little lighter. I like that.
It's good. Yes, it is good. And I'm looking forward to the summary as we go along.
Noted. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go real quick into gallery mode. Can I ask a favor of this lovely group of human beings? And by the way, Mary, I think I said it before. If I didn't, I want to make it clear. Okay. Above average. This is an above average looking group of people.
Hello. Yeah.
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 Like collectively speaking, I'm not saying any particular person is that good looking, but general, like overall, the body of work, the collective, 7.5, I'd say. What do you think?
On the hotness scale, 7.5. I think you're low myself. I think you're low.
Trying to be realistic, Emily.
I'm just I think it's low still. I'm just saying.
What I want you to do, and this is going to sound, I feel like I'm almost like an elementary school teacher, so I apologize. Can you please just put your metaphorical hand up, the one where it's under reactions? Because I want people, this is my effort of engagement and inclusivity. I just need a few people to do the whole stop thing. I know it's ridiculous already. Would you please put your hand up now? It's not really, please put your hand up now. Jesus, this is a tough group.
People are doing it.
No, they have to follow directions. It's the reactions hand. All right. Yes, Carolyn.
All
right. Carolyn, I'm going to go with non-storytellers for the moment. Jim, can you please unmute yourself? Just for the moment, I'm going with non-storytellers.
Oh boy.
Jim, ready? Sir, when you're ready, please just tell me to stop.
Stop.
Next storyteller is going to be Angela. Angela, if you're upset with that, you can blame Jim. There's no reason to be upset, but just don't look at me. All right, Angela, when you are ready, we want to hear your story. Break a leg.
I'm in Portugal, taking literally thousands of pictures that will remain on my phone. I walk into a used bookstore to find some old postcards, and as I'm going through the box, I come across a picture of a girl. She's hauntingly beautiful. She is staring off into the distance. I flip over the picture and I see that she's priced at 10 euro. I think about it, but I put her back in the box. I go home and I can't stop thinking about her. I wonder how she ended up in this box. How did she get separated from her family? Why doesn't anybody want her? I think about her so much that a few days later, right before I'm ready to leave Lisbon, I go back to the bookstore to see if I can find her, and I do. And so I hand the man a 10 euro note and I take her home. I don't like posing for pictures myself, but there might be some out there of me at some point. And I wonder if someday somebody's going to walk into a used bookstore and maybe there'll be a picture of me, and maybe they'll take me home and wonder how I got separated from my family too. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Mary, it is interesting that we have known some of these people through primarily Zoom, though there are some exceptions, for the better part of 2 years now.
I know.
You know what I mean? Got to
I
know a
know.
little bit about their lives, often through story. You got to hear different stories, some of them 99, some of them longer. Kind of interesting.
You know, Zoom brought more storytellers together during a really tough time, and it's a good thing. You know, the slam came out of it. It's one of the wonderful things that came out of it.
I feel like Google Meets,
or some may disagree, but
yeah, no, I just feel like we often talk about Zoom, and I feel like Google Meets missed an opportunity.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Google Meets could have done better. Everyone's Zooming.
Could have done better. Well,
but I think Google's okay. I think Google's doing okay.
They're doing fine. Yeah, Google's
I'm not sure. I just think they're probably okay.
They're fine. They're not worried about us.
Yeah.
and our stories.
Sure.
But that's okay. They don't have to be. We do our thing.
We're digressing.
We are, but we do that well.
Sometimes.
Aww.
We are at 9:20, so we're going to keep it moving along as promised.
That's right.
Let me get one more person. I think it was Barbara Peterson. Unmute yourself when you're ready, please. Tell me to stop. Awkward if she's in the bathroom now.
Stop.
Jeez, with a little sass. Brian in Canada. Brian in friggin' Canada. Let me unmute yourself. I'll spotlight you, Brian. When you are ready, sir, break a leg.
It's the first day of my summer job selling souvenir hats at the Canadian National Exhibition, and I'm in awe of the woman next to me. She's bright, she's funny, she's talented, she's beautiful. Her name is Nancy, and for the first 2 days I can't even speak to her, but finally by the end of the summer, we're talking, and then we date for a while. And over the Christmas holidays, I popped the question. I invite her to my senior prom, and she says yes. I know it's hard to believe, but I was not part of the in crowd at Forest Hill Collegiate. So walking into the prom with the most beautiful girl in the room on my arm was the greatest day of my high school career. We had her photo taken. We danced the night away. It was magnificent. In September, she went off to university. It's 22 years later. I'm at a fundraiser at Second City, and she walks into the room with her husband from Los Angeles. He's schmoozing, so I go over sheepishly and I say hello. And she asked me if I ever told him that her and I went to my prom together. I'd worked with Martin Short a number of times over the years, but you can understand this never came up in conversation. She drags me and goes, "Honey, Brian took me to his senior prom," and he screams, "You bastard!" The next day, they go back to Los Angeles, and I find out 5 years later she passes away from cancer. I work with him again in 2017. At our very first meeting, I take the beautiful black and white image from us at the prom, and I hand it to him. He smiles. There's a little tear. He hands it back and says, No, Marty, please keep it. And if you want, you can cut me out of the picture. And I hope he has. Boom.
That was Brian up and representing an entire country this evening. Entire country.
Yes.
Entire country of Canada.
No pressure.
Not as many
Brian.
people, Mary, as we have down here in the States. You know, entire country Canada might be like LA and New York in terms of population. Big country, though. Beautiful country.
Beautiful country.
Big, beautiful country.
Yes, I agree. Yes, I absolutely agree.
So we
and
got,
represented. Brian's like, I got you.
Canada is almost always represented. In the finals of the Grand Slam here, we've had Tracey in Queens, which, look, it's Queens. It's a borough of New York. What's not to love about that? We had Mustache Mark in your state of Massachusetts. We had Angela also in your state. But you think she lives in New York, and you're not correct.
I know where she lives. I'm just saying.
Some people
once you get that far out, you're like, we think
once
you're
you get west of what, like Newton?
That far out?
I don't know. And then we had Brian, who lives in suburban Toronto. It doesn't matter if it's true at this point, Brian. In Toronto, it doesn't matter. I'm
It's a
sorry.
good, it's a good
It's
story.
just a narrative I choose to cling to. So just nod your head. We're
Right.
fine. We'll get to the truth another time. No one really cares.
I reject your reality and replace it with my own.
Your reality is not that important. Mary, of course, the final say on tonight's goes down to you. So whenever you're
Oh, it
ready,
does.
tell me
Well,
to
thanks.
stop. Of course.
Stop.
Steph Rogers in Chicago. Want to make sure you don't think I'm bullshitting you. Just my lighting is a little weird. I'll work on that. Where is Steph?
I'm here. Can you see me?
Oh yeah, we can now.
Hi.
Oh yeah, girlfriend. All right, hang on. Let me get my clock out. Whenever you are ready, young lady, break a leg.
All right. I'm in Savannah, Georgia, and I don't know what I've done. I never know what I've done. All I know is it must be very, very bad because there is a 21-year-old kid, my son, charging at me with this raging fury so intense. I'm wondering, is he going to hit me? Just a few hours ago, we were in Tennessee and there were laughs and hugs and a beautiful sunrise. And I thought this day would be so beautiful until he got a little moody and he turned on some really obnoxious rap music and I got annoyed with him and he lost it. And now here we are in the car, miserable with each other, yelling at each other, and he won't help me carry the bags up to the Airbnb that I've booked in Savannah, Georgia. So I shove the bags back into the back of the car and I drive us to our bike tour that we're supposed to be on at 1 p.m., but he will not go in. My friends never mention anything about their kids and volatility, and I wonder, are whole days ruined for them too? As I'm driving, I'm thinking, this is totally my fault. I spoiled him. We're finally standing at the bike tour, and we're the only ones signed up for this 1 p.m. tour, so I have paid for it. I decide to go in alone. I go riding around with the tour guide. Her name is Sarah. She's very sweet, but all the while my stomach is hurting. He should be here, I think. Why isn't he here? I am following her through the parks and through the cobblestone streets. She's sweet and she has 2 grown sons of her own. And I tell her, I'm sorry, my son wasn't feeling well. And I see the look in her eyes. She knows. Thank you.
Thank you, Steph Rogers in Chicagoland. Some people, Mary, say Chicagoland.
I totally
Did
went
I?
over. Did I totally go over?
We will discuss that in a little bit, Steph. Now she just got rid of us.
Fine.
She's like, there she is. Here's my Story Jam logo, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's the blocking on Zoom.
I'm done. Done.
Wow. That was we have 5 storytellers that I've told so far. We have
We
one
had
more.
5. Steph was in Chicago.
Yeah.
I actually met Steph last fall. Really, she's a lovely person.
I can tell she's a lovely person.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
not that you'd be surprised by that.
I am not.
But I haven't. I've met Tracey, who was another one of our finalists here. Haven't met Mark yet. Oh no, I did meet Mark. Sorry, Mark. I met Mark in the Boston Moth, which I might have won. I'm just saying. Didn't meet Angela, but I'm looking forward to.
I was
meeting
totally
Angela.
there. You did win.
Humble brag.
Mark's bitter because he told a great story and he came in 3rd or 2nd. And he's just a bitter person. You could. I'm just kidding.
Chandra and I actually tied for 3rd that night.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
He's from Boston. We're all bitter. Most of us are bitter.
Yeah, we know.
That's just how we are.
And then the opposite of that is Briane, who's in Canada, and they're all happy.
Who's not, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we had 86 years of drought, of a win, of the Red Sox. We are bitter people. We are.
Very bitter.
We're bitter, but we're okay. We're fun.
Can we move on?
Well, listen, we're good people.
Irony here is that our very first storyteller of the evening turns out to be, go figure, our last. We're not staying in the United States of America.
We are not.
We're going down to, I don't know if it's a republic, but for shits and giggles, I'm going to say the Republic of Mexico. When she's done and after the winner is announced and we get through all that stuff, I want her to tell us exactly where she is if she wants to. Because there's a story there.
I know, there is a story there.
Let us spotlight her. She will be our final storyteller of the evening, season 6, 99-second grand slam. Here she's spotlighted. She's unmuted. Take your time, Carolyn, and break a leg.
Before I start, I'm really happy to begin and end this whole thing. So now I've thrown you off. You don't know when to start timing me. All right, here we go. I've always thought of myself as a loyal friend, but maybe not so much. I'm standing in my friend Loretta's living room holding a jacket that she wants to give me before she moves to assisted living in another town. I don't like the jacket. It's pink, it's fitted, it's got gold bling. It's not me. And lately, I'm not very fond of Loretta either. She was my first friend when I moved to this town, and we walked and laughed and read literature, but now her knees are bad and she's in pain, and she wants me to come see her more and more and more. But when I get there, she only wants to hear gossip and bad news. Anyway, she's moving and I'm relieved. Right now, she's walking slowly across the floor and she gets closer to me and she says, "You know, I saved that jacket just for you." Suddenly, I am so tired. I don't really want the jacket. And what happened to my friend Loretta? Where is she? Well, she's standing in front of me. Her lined face shows age and pain and maybe the knowledge that this is her last trip. She's 86. She's still Loretta. She was my friend. I know that I can't be the friend she needs, but I can take the jacket. And I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Just got a note from Mary to not show you the 80-second warning, and I did it anyway. I made a mistake. Thank you for your story, everybody.
Yeah, that made me happy because I knew I was all right.
Yes, you were under time.
Yeah.
Great job, everybody. Hey, seriously, audience, you rock. Somebody's just coming in now. They did not get the right email. Thank you to our tellers. Yeah, well, I do have bad news, but this is not going to come as a surprise. She's waiting for it. She knows. There is one storyteller that went over by about too much. Her name is Steph Rogers. She's nodding. We love her, but she unfortunately will not be in the final poll. So we've got 5 people we want to summarize here, Mary. We have got Tracey, Mark, Angela, Briane, and Carolyn E. And then hang on here though for a sec. Before we do that, just want to, I'm letting you know, Mary, what the deal is.
Right.
Now what do we do here? So we have a surprise.
We do.
Now you think the surprise is that I'm going to belly dance.
Yeah.
You're not right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to summarize. Did you just do the thing? She just did the thing. By the way, Jews fucking love when people do that thing. We love that shit. You don't know what the hell you're talking about, but it turns us on. Do it some more, baby. We love it. Am I right, Brian? Can I get an amen, Brian? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
An amen. Oh, there's a handshake.
Catholic girls, don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Look, do the summaries.
Okay.
We'll do the vote, and then we'll bring our surprise guest on for her surprise piece. Hang on one sec. Let me make sure I got my stuff. All right, you got your 5 tellers and their summaries. Here we go.
All right. So Tracey was ready for her special lunch with Miss Herman, and unfortunately, that was the day that the Challenger tragedy happened. Mark. Ant on the penis. Mark. Why? Y'all do one story that I have to say something about a penis or sex or something, but I love you all. Angela went back to buy the photo of the girl who was lost from her family to make sure that she found a new place that she could call home. Brian, his prom date, actually married Martin Short, and they shared a bond over the prom picture when he saw him 5 years later. And Carolyn is a loyal friend. with her friend Loretta, who unfortunately was not the same person that she knew, but she did take her jacket that she saved just
All
for
right.
Carolyn.
All right, I did the same sort of thing where I've got the one word, but what we're gonna do here, let's just check the chat, make sure everybody's cool. Sorry, my dear Steph, you were too far over. If it was just a couple of seconds, I could have thrown you a bone, my dear. Hey, look, we say you gotta prepare, people. Yes, Richard, you will be voting for two, just like before. That doesn't mean there's two winners unless there's a tie. If there's a tie, we will go to a runoff. If there's a tie after that, then there's,
Then there's two winners.
However, before we do that, we've got a special guest. She has been involved with the 99-second story slam, among other things. She's won a slam.
She has.
Very good at many things. And if it were any time up until recently, I would have introduced her and said she lives in Pittsburgh, but she does not live in Pittsburgh anymore. She now resides in, and there's a bit of a trivia question here, the Big Apple. That is correct.
That's cool.
So we are going to unmute her and we are going to spotlight her. And she's got a little thing for you all before we announce the winner. Her name is Torrey Shine. Take it away, Torrey.
Hi, friends. What a great show. So I have a special treat. I have been taking notes and listening to all of these wonderful stories, and I wrote a little something. Inspired by all of your stories, I have created a new story, a piece of fiction. I've tried to honor all of your narratives, and I hope I'm taking all of your words and putting them into a context that makes you feel okay and happy. And if not, then I hope you still love it. I think you're gonna love it. So the title of the story is, Can There Be Two Winners? Or would you all just run off? Schmutzy, she was always my best friend. And she was also my nemesis, too. Everything any person ever tried, she could do it better than you. We both bonded over crossword puzzles, and I helped her get over her shy girl spree. And she loved my sense of adventure and my knack for hyperbole. But just once, I wanted to be on top, to be a star in my own domain. I tried to find my purpose on the internet, but the internet had just helped me feel weird all over again. My only way to feel like a success, it was to beat Schmutzy in a public match, so everyone could see that I was also quite a catch. We designed a decathlon of tasks, a mix of trials and household chores, answering calls and baking and witchcraft, plus driving and peacefully answering incoming calls. I'd studied all the road maps and I'd aced my driving classes. But when I turned on the ignition, suddenly I dropped my glasses. I was trying to focus on the road, but my blind eyes, they're flickering, these blind pupils. Without my glasses to give me guidance, the lines on the road, they quadrupled. Plus, nobody told me the official way to answer a phone, and yet they expected me to operate a whole store. All the phones I used, they only had 10 buttons, but these phones, they had 24. The witchcraft task, that should have been my best, but I let my prior experience go to my head. And when I tried to resurrect the body, I summoned a dead carcass instead. And when I baked the family pie, I forgot to put in the sugar. I know, rookie mistake. Schmutzy, she stopped eating, but in this town, we do not let food go to waste. I realized I'd done a bad thing, and this is not gonna go well. And I'd been on a diet since I was 7 years old, but I ate that whole unsugared pie from hell. And for my closing act, the finale, as if there hadn't been enough disgrace, I managed to burn all of the judges with the candle of peace. Obviously, Schmutzy was the winner, and that means I had lost. I had to take the punishment and pay all of the costs. The referee, he yelled at me fiercely. He said, "Shame on you, Bernice. My. Now fill out this timesheet forever, every year and day until you quit or you die." Clocking in. That timesheet, it was my hell. The only exit, it said permission required. But one day my resistance, it swelled. I'd been publicly defeated, my shame dragging into a frown. Sometimes I think, is the whole universe trying to get me down? But I broke through the doors and I drove away across the river to a yoga studio zone. It was my favorite place because nobody knew me there, all on my own. And it was there that I met a tantric master named Chobi. And we connected in a deep, peaceful candle kind of way. We were usually too busy to talk on the phone by night, but we made sweet love all through the day. But one day I looked deep into Chobi's eyes, looking for the person I used to know was there. I can see my partner had gone, and our love, it was no longer here. But the Zen he brought to my world, it stayed with me after he fled. And that day, for the first time, I held a tree pose for a full minute on both of my legs. I was ready to return to the world and to face Schmutzy once again. And so I went back to the Poconos to challenge my nemesis and my best friend. Our rematch, it would be just one round, a single match until it ends. I was so ready, but then they announced it's going to be a swim meet and it's going to be co-ed. I tried to swim upstream. I paddled and I crawled and I kicked my legs, but Schmutzy, darn it, she was faster. And I came in second place. I thought that meant that I would be the loser again. But then the referee, he said they changed the score. Schmutzy, she'd recalculated all the votes so that the process was a little bit more fair than it'd been before. They declared us both the winners, and together we knew we could tackle any mission. I dropped my glasses again, but this time it was the best kind of double vision. I was destined for these two friends to spend eternity together, to face the world as it will come in all kinds of weather. Because is there anybody who's got a first-rate badass co-host like mine? Well, there's got to be somebody who's got a first-rate badass co-host like mine. Well, can I get a Schmutzy? Can I get a Bernice? Can I get a Schmutzy? Ooh, well, can I get a Bernice? I love words. I always have. And you might think this is way too cheesy to be real. But believe it or not, we didn't script this. It's just the cards that we chose to deal. The road, I know it's going to be rocky up ahead, but we will get past it. We'll get by, guiding each other even if one of us can't see and the other one loses their mind. And I could hear the audience making noise. Are they laughing? No, they're cheering. They're cheering for me. They're cheering for Bernice and Schmutzy. Boom.
There it is. Torrey Shine, who recently relocated to New York City. Mary, that's Torrey. You know each other or know of each other, certainly. Do not.
Damn, girl.
You can try it, but it's not easy because it happens so fast. People might be thinking, oh, I get it. Sure. You sent Torrey some information about the stories yesterday. No, we didn't.
How do we know?
We hear the stories until just now.
Right. We hear it all.
How do
with
I
you.
know? I don't know what's going on. I can barely fucking tie my shoes and brush my teeth. I can't.
But you can get wine from the gas station.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's do this because we are going to take our, we're going to, in just a moment, we're going to vote.
Yes.
When we're done with the vote, we will announce the winner, and then we invite you to stay on and hang out and talk. And there will be an opportunity for our tellers and others to let us know what you're doing. I will say this. This is almost 2 years since we started the 99, and we have done a lot of cool things. I'm really proud of it. A lot of stuff that we've done in terms of events are going to be changing because there's just not the demand, it seems like, in the virtual space, but we will try to keep things alive as best we can. Grit's not going anywhere. I mean, Grit still kicks ass. And we want to help people with their story stuff and select events and the swap shop, which remains open on Fridays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. And I think it's a pretty cool space if you want to get feedback on stories. I do. I'm pretty proud of it and the people that are involved. And this is overlap some, but I have to say one other thing. And some people on here have been involved in my other podcast called Suicide Noted. And tomorrow, Monday, is our 2-year anniversary to the day that we launched our first episode. And tomorrow is episode number 117. And I'm proud of that. So, and interestingly, one of our storytellers tonight resides in Mexico. And this particular person who I talked to, all my people I talked to for that podcast are suicide attempt survivors, happens to reside in Mexico. So go figure.
Go figure.
So anyway, whether you were directly involved or sort of incidentally involved in that, thank you for just doing what we do and kicking it with us. And we'll see what happens moving forward. All that said, Jesus, Sean, enough. Launch the fucking poll.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth, my friends.
It's a gift. Here we go. There is a poll. If I can pull it up, there it is. We have got Tracey, Challenger, Mark, Ant, Angela, Photo, Briane, Prom, Carolyn, Jacket. You will still pick your top 2.
That's right.
Should there be a tie, we will have one runoff, and then we will see where things fall. Please, everybody, vote, and thank you for being here. Let's do it.
Launch that.
This is exciting. We're about to have another Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
This is close. Everyone needs to vote. It is really freaking close. Oh, snap. There's several people who haven't voted. We need you to vote.
Yeah, guys, you got to vote because it's just that damn close.
All right. There's a couple people who are opting out. That's fine. I understand. Let us give it 20 more seconds.
I will say this, that someone did not get the poll and they voted, and it's going to make a difference.
What do you mean? Just message me.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get people to make sure they vote, Sean.
People.
I'm creating a sense of urgency here.
So officially, we have 5 people that haven't voted. It will make a difference. Help us out. It is the freaking Grand Slam. If you didn't get the poll, please reach out to Mary. Don't try to play any games at this point. We will know. But if you legitimately didn't get the poll for one reason or another, let Mary know and send her your answers. We won't rush this. We want to get it right. We will momentarily have a winner. I will say it's very close. Very, very close. I'm looking for your stuff, Mary. Thank you all for being flexible, giving us a little latitude. Okay.
You see it?
Yep.
Okay.
You see what I said?
Okay. That works from that, yeah.
This is awkward, I know, but I'm talking with Mary just to make sure we get this right.
Yeah, and if anybody else didn't get the poll, you got to vote like now.
We've got 3 more people. I know 1 or 2 people. There was a reason why they chose not to.
Right. And there's 2 votes. There's 2 votes. So bear with us a second.
This was not like, we're not trying to draw it out for the sake
No, we're
of
really not.
drama. It just worked out that way. That this is a really tough spot. We want to get it right. 2 people. I know 1 person didn't hear all the stories, so they've chosen not to vote, which I appreciate.
Yeah, thank you for being honest. You gotta wait for a second, Sean.
Yeah, no worries. We're fine. Look, it's the grand frickin' slam. They'll wait. We're not playing games here. People, people, it's Zoom. They can like literally be listening and refilling their wine glass up simultaneously. It's fine.
Well, right. I mean, definitely fill up your wine glass. I mean, my God, why would we ever get in the way of that?
All right. It doesn't look like people are going to, this is literally on 3 minutes and 30 seconds now. So it's becoming.
I know. Yeah, I think what you just said to me, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
What? Stop.
Stop what?
Wait.
All right. This
Wait,
is weird.
Someone has a question, guys.
Sure, no worries.
Elena Beth has a question. We're basing just on the last set, not taking into account the first stories.
Right. You should only be voting on this story that you just heard. It's not the full body of work. Just the story, your favorite 2 stories from the last round. These last 5 tellers. All right.
Okay.
All right. We've got a winner. It was extraordinarily close. Literally a couple votes away. Before we announce who the winner is, thank you very much. But I don't want to stretch it out because we literally just made them wait.
I know. I'm sorry, but
no, we wanted to get it right. We got it right. And do you want? So I'm gonna hear. You have an option, Mary, Queen Mary.
Oh, I do.
One and only Queen Mary. You either can share with us season 6 winner, or you can give that honor to someone else as long as his name is not Sean. Up to you. No, they don't know. What am I doing? It's got to be you.
It's got to be me.
Duh. And someone needs to go to bed.
Yes.
Queen Mary, who is the winner of season number 6.
Sorry, I need to put my crown on.
Yeah.
I haven't done this in a while. We
got a drum roll going.
That's right.
Here we go.
That's
We're
right.
Yep.
She's from your hometown, Sean. Miss Tracey. Congratulations, darling.
Tracey Starin wins it from the first spot, which is really impressive.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Wow.
Tracey.
Yes.
We are a little bit sorry that it took almost 5 minutes to get that, but we got it right, and that's what matters. We wanted to make sure. To our tellers, to our fans, to our audience, to those that have endorsed me and validated my belly dancing over the months and years, thank you very much. And this is the time now where we will ask you to hang out and talk, and you can let us know what you're doing and sort of promote yourself before everybody leaves. And then we could just sort of shoot the shit a little bit before we go to bed. Because on the East Coast, we're old and we're getting tired. I know on the West Coast, you still have shit to do.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations, Tracey. You're unmuted. What do you think? Yes. Put you on the spot, Tracey. Well done.
Thank you very much. I'm incredibly honored because what an unbelievable bunch of storytellers. I know a lot of them personally and have gotten to know a lot of them over the last 2 years. I'm speechless because what an unbelievable bunch of stories there were tonight. I really can't believe it. I'm humbled. Thank you so much.
I kind of appreciate her humility, Mary, don't you?
I know. And it's right. She's right. It's an amazing group. So
what an unbelievable bunch of stories tonight.
Yeah, great stories, great humans, mostly. And it's interesting because I forgot to say this, of the 5 people who were in that final poll, 4 of them were from the Northeast. Remember, we have this thing for some reason that the winners are all from the Northeast. And I was like, maybe something, but no, we go back to, and it's great.
But didn't Erica win one? Didn't Erica win one of the last?
Erica won a
slams?
slam, not a grand slam, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So we've had slam winners, I mean, as we know, Tracey, we're global.
We're global.
So we've been all over the place, but it just worked out that the grand slams seem to always go back to the Northeast. Something in the water, as Corey might say. Yeah, he's waiting for it. Look.
As he shakes his head.
Yeah.
Never say that, Sean. I would never say that.
We